Question. You are the project manager. This project has 12,345 office doors to install throughout the campus. Each of the doors costs the project $456 and requires special hardware to electronically lock and open the doors. You gather the project team before they begin the installation for a hands-on training. As a group, you and the project team install 50 doors following the checklist of instructions so that every door will be installed exactly the same throughout the campus and with minimal waste. This is an example of what project execution technique: preventive action, defect repair validation, implemented corrective action, quality control. Answer. 8. Explanation. This is an example of a preventive action as you're working with the team before they install the doors to train them on the installation. The checklist is a quality control tool, but the question was asking for a project execution activity. Preventive and corrective actions are part of project execution. Answered option D is incorrect. Quality control is a controlling and monitoring process, not an executing process. Answered option B is incorrect. The defect repair validation comes after the project team has corrected an error, something that has not occurred in this instance. Answered option C is incorrect. Corrective action is a response to something that needs to be corrected in the project. Question. Your project is 40% complete, though it was scheduled to be 50% complete as of today. Management has asked that you report on the schedule variance for your project. If your project has a back of $650,000 and you'd spent $385,000 to date, what is the schedule variance value? $8.75 B $390,000 C $487,500 D negative 65,000. Answer. D. Explanation. The schedule variance is found by subtracting the planned value from the earned value. The earned value is the percentage of the project completeness multiplied by the BC. Planned value is the percentage of where the project should be at this time multiplied by the BC. In this example, EV equals 40% of BC equals 260,000 and PV equals 50% of BC equals 325,000. SV equals 260,000 325,000 equals negative 65. 000. Question. Question. Jim is the project manager for his project. He and his project team are creating their duration estimates for the work packages in the WBS. For each activity, Jim is adding a few hours to the duration estimate in case something goes wrong during the completion of the work activity. Sarah, the project sponsor, does not approve of this and warns Jim of Parkinson's law. What is Parkinson's law? 8. People will behave based on what their behavior brings them. B. As employees do repetitive tasks, duration should decrease. C. Work expands to fill the amount of time allotted to it. D. An exponential increase labor does not correlate to an exponential decrease in duration. D. An exponential increase labor does not correlate to an exponential decrease in duration. Answer. C. Explanation. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the amount of time allotted to complete the work. If Jim allows 25 hours for a project team member to complete a 20-hour task, it will likely take the team member 25 hours to do the work. Answered option A is incorrect. This is a description of the expectancy theory. Answered option B is incorrect. This is a description of the learning curve. Answered option D is incorrect. This is a description of a portion of the law of diminishing returns. Question. Answer. Schedule. Question. Correct text. Fill in the blank with the appropriate word. When activities are logically linked, they become the. Answer. Schedule. Explanation. An activity is an individual element of work that is logically linked to other activities to form the schedule. Its primary characteristics include an overall duration based upon the resources applied to it, manpower, material, and equipment, as well as a start and completion date that is tied to a work calendar. It also has a relationship with other activities' predecessors and successors. Question. You work as a project manager for ABC. You are currently overseeing a project on a high-rise building site. Your prime concern is to ensure that cranes are used effectively for moving materials. You also have to ensure that delivery trucks do not have to wait in a queue and that workers on the upper floors are able to get their deliveries on time. Which type of scheduling would be required in such a scenario? A. Critical path scheduling. B. Time-oriented scheduling. C. Resource-oriented scheduling. D. Network scheduling. Answer. C. Explanation. Resource-oriented scheduling focuses on using and scheduling particular resources in an effective manner. This type of scheduling should be used whenever there are limited resources available for a project and the struggle for these resources between the project activities is intense. As a result, delays are likely to arise in such cases, as actions must wait until general resources become available. Resource-oriented scheduling is also suitable in cases where unique resources are to be used, such as when there is only one excavator available in an excavation operation. Answered option B is incorrect. Time-oriented scheduling is a time scheduling method that focuses on determining the finishing time of a project. It also specifies the crucial precedence relationships among the activities involved in the project. In time-oriented scheduling, the appropriate time is allocated for the whole project through the successive stages of the project life cycle. Answered option A is incorrect. Critical path scheduling is a technique that calculates the minimum completion time for a project along with the possible start and finish times for the project activities. Answered option D is incorrect. Network scheduling provides a basis for obtaining facts for decision-making. Question. John works as a project manager for Blue. He is working on a high-profile project with 80 stakeholders and he needs to express to his project team and to the management the importance of communication in the project. He would like to show the number of stakeholder communication channels in the project. Based on this information, how many communication channels exist within this project? A. 3000. B. 79. C. 80. D. 3160. Answer. D. Explanation. Communication channels are paths of communication with stakeholders in a project. The number of communication channels shows the complexity of a project's communication and can be derived through the formula shown below. Total number of communication channels equals n1/2, where n is the number of stakeholders. Hence, a project having 5 stakeholders will have 10 communication channels. Putting the number of stakeholders in the formula, we can get the required communication channel for the project. It is 80 by 79 over 2 for 3,160 communication channels. Question. There have been changes to the project scope in your project. These changes will cause the project schedule to change as well. so you will need to update the schedule and the schedule baseline. The schedule baseline is a component of what? A. Project calendar. B. Project constraints. C. Project objectives. D. Project management plan. Answer D. Explanation. The schedule baseline is a required component of the project management plan. Project management plan is a formal, agreed document that defines how the project is executed, monitored and controlled. It may be summary or detailed and may be composed of one or more subsidiary management plans and other planning documents. The objective of a project management plan is to define the approach to be used by the project team to deliver the intended project management scope of the project. The project manager creates the project management plan with the inputs from the project team and key stakeholders. The plan should be agreed and approved by at least the project team and its key stakeholders. Answered option C is incorrect. The schedule baseline is not a project objective. Answered option A is incorrect. The project calendar defines when the project will take place. Answered option B is incorrect. Project constraints are restrictions imposed on the project, such as time, cost, and scope. Question. Holly is the project manager of her project. She has chosen to crash the project due to time constraints that have been imposed on her project. When Holly crashes the project, what project document must be updated to reflect this change to the approach? A. Develop schedule process. B. Risk register. C. Project risk management plan. D. Activity attributes. Answer D. Explanation. When Holly adds resources to the project, as in this instance, she will need to update the activity attributes to reflect the new labor. Activity attributes are an output of the defined activity process. These attributes refer to the multiple components that frame up an activity. The components for each activity during the early stages of the project are the activity ID, WBS ID, and activity name. At the later stages, the activity attributes include activity codes, predecessor activity, activity description, logical relationship, successor activity, leads and lags, imposed dates, and constraints and assumptions. Activity attributes are used for schedule development and for ordering, selecting, and sorting the planned scheduled activities in a number of ways within reports. In project document updates, activity attributes are updated to include any revised resource requirements and other revision generated by the develop schedule process. Question. Whitney is the project manager for her company. She has been recording the actual durations of the project work to determine the actual progress of her project. Whitney needs to generate an updated project schedule based on project performance. She is using the supporting schedule data, manual scheduling methods, and her project management software to perform schedule network analysis. What other tool Whitney can use to help and generate an updated project schedule? A. Critical path method. B. Schedule management plan. C. Scheduling tool. D. Critical chain method. Answer C. Explanation. The scheduling tool is the only other tool that can help Whitney to create an updated project schedule. The scheduling tool is used in combination with manual methods or further project management software to carry out the schedule network analysis to produce an updated project schedule. Answered option A is incorrect. The critical path method can be analyzed, but it is a part of the project management information system. In addition, The critical path is not better or worse than the critical chain method, so by having both answers among the choices, both answers are cancelled. Answered option D is incorrect. The critical chain method can be analyzed, but it is a part of the project management information system. In addition, the critical path is not better or worse than the critical path method, so by having both answers among the choices, both answers are cancelled. Answered option B is incorrect. The schedule management plan may need to be referenced to create a new project schedule, but it is not a tool that we can use. Question. You are the project manager of the NHQ project. Your project has a budget of $1,258,456 and is scheduled to last for 3 years. Your project is currently 40% complete, though it should be 45% complete. In order to reach this point of the project, you have spent $525,000. Management needs a performance report regarding the NHQ project. Management is concerned that this project will be over budget upon completion. What is the estimate at completion for this project that you will need to report to management? $8.62,922.80. B. $1,312,504. C1. $8.62,922.80. B. $1,312,504. C. $1,525,000. D. $787,504. Answer B. Explanation. The estimate at completion can be calculated by dividing the budget at completion by the cost performance index. Here, CPI equals EV over AC equals 0.40 by 1,258,456 over 525,000 equals 0.95882. PAC equals budget over CPI equals 1,258,456/0.95882 equals 1,312,504. Answered option D is incorrect. $787,504 is the estimate to complete. Answered option B is incorrect. $62,922.80 is the schedule variance. Answered option C is incorrect. This is not a valid calculation for this question. Question. John works as the project manager for Honeywell Incorporated. He is involved in the periodic collection and analysis of baseline versus actual data to understand and communicate the project progress. Which of the following techniques is used in generating performance reports? A. Work performance information. B. Change requests. C. Work performance measurements. D. Forecasting method. Answer D. Explanation. Forecasting method is a technique used in generating performance reports. Forecasting is the process of estimating or predicting in unknown situations. Forecasting is about predicting the future as accurately as possible with the help of all the information available, including historical data and knowledge of any future events that might impact forecasts. The forecasting methods are categorized as follows. Time series method. It uses historical data as the basis for estimating future outcomes. Causal/econometric method. This forecasting method is based on the assumption that it is possible to identify some factors that might influence the variable that is being forecasted. If the causes are understood, projections of the influencing variables can be made and used in the forecast. Judgmental method. Judgmental forecasting methods incorporate intuitive judgments, opinions, and subjective probability estimates. Other methods may include probabilistic forecasting, simulation, and ensemble forecasting. It is one of the tools and techniques of the report performance process. Answered option A is incorrect. Work performance information is the data gathered on the status of the project schedule activities that are performed to accomplish the project work. This data is collected as part of the direct and managed project execution processes. WPI includes the following: deliverable status, schedule, progress, costs incurred. It is used as an input in generating the report performance process. Answered option C is incorrect. Work performance measurements are created from the work performance information. WPMs are an output of control schedule, control cost, and control scope processes, which are monitoring and controlling processes. WPMs consist of planned versus actual performance indicators with respect to scope, schedule, and cost. They are documented and communicated to the stakeholders and are used to make project activity metrics, such as the following: planned versus actual technical performance and scope performance, planned versus actual schedule performance, planned versus actual cost performance. They are used as an input in generating the report performance process. Answered option B is incorrect. Change requests are requests to expand or reduce the project scope, modify policies, processes, plans, or procedures, modify costs or budgets, or revise schedules. These requests for a change can be direct or indirect, externally or internally initiated, and legally or contractually imposed or optional. A project manager needs to ensure that only formally documented requested changes are processed and only approved change requests are implemented. It is an output of the report performance process. Question: which of the following are the inputs to the develop project charter process? Each correct answer represents a complete solution. Choose all that apply. A. Procurement document. B. Contract. C. Business case. D. Project statement of work. Answer: B, C, D. Explanation: the develop project charter process documents the formal authorization of a project or a phase. It also documents initial requirements that satisfy the stakeholders' needs and expectations. It is used to validate the decisions made during the previous iteration of the develop project charter process. The various inputs of this process are as follows: project statement of work, business case, contract, enterprise environmental factors, organizational process assets. The output of the develop project charter process is as follows: project charter. Answered option A is incorrect. Procurement document is the input of the identified stakeholders process. Question: Beth is the project manager for the NHQ project. This project deals with fiber optic cabling in her organizational campus. Tim is the electrical engineer for her company and is the only internal resource that can complete several of the project activities that deal with the fiber optic cables. Because Tim is a highly skilled resource, he is already scheduled on several projects within the organization and is not available when Beth needs him to complete some of the project activities. This is an example of which term: A. Resource calendar conflict. B. Matrix network. C. Organizational process assets. D. Activity resource requirements. Answer: D. Explanation. Because the activities in Beth's project require Tim and his skills. This is an example of an activity resource requirement. The resource constraint would also have been an acceptable answer. Answered option B is incorrect. This may be a matrix organization, but matrix network is not a valid project management term. Answered option C is incorrect. Organizational process assets are things that have been created to help assist the management of the project. Answered option A is incorrect. The resource calendar conflict is not a valid project management term. Question. Fill in the blank with an appropriate phrase that allows the project team to look at the performance of the project to date and use that data to make more accurate projections about the future. Answer. Schedule model. Explanation. The main function of the schedule model is to provide a useful roadmap that can be used by the project manager and the project team to assist them in completing the project fruitfully. A well-developed schedule model is an active tool used to predict at what time the project work that remains to be completed can reasonably be completed. The schedule model allows the project team to look at the performance of the project to date and use that data to make more accurate projections about the future. Question. Some delays early in the project have caused the project schedule to slip by nearly 15%. Management would like them to find a method to recoup the schedule slippage and to get the project back on track. Management is risk-averse with this project. Which of the following methods should Ben avoid to recoup the project time? A. Crashing. B. Fast tracking. C. Critical chain methodology. D. Adding lead time. C. Critical chain methodology. D. Adding lead time. Answer. B. Explanation. Of all the choices, Ben should avoid fast tracking, as it allows complete phases of the project to overlap, and this increases project risks. Management wants to avoid risks, so fast tracking would not be helpful. Fast tracking is a technique for compressing project schedule. In fast tracking, phases are overlapped that would normally be done in sequence. It is shortening the project schedule without reducing the project scope. Answered option A is incorrect. Crashing adds people and costs but is relatively safe in regard to risks. Answered option C is incorrect. Critical chain is not a schedule compression technique and would not necessarily help the project get back on schedule. Answered option D is incorrect. Lead time, similar to fast tracking, can increase project risks. However, fast tracking is more risky than lead. Question. The project manager needs to analyze her current project performance and then compare it against what, in order to create the performance report? A. Cost variances and cost performance index. B. Scope baseline. C. Performance measurement baseline. D. Schedule variances, planned value, and the schedule performance index. Answer. C. Explanation. The performance measurement baseline, which can be comprised of cost, scope, and schedule, is the foundation for creating the performance report. Answered option B is incorrect. The scope baseline will only reflect the performance of the scope, whereas performance reports typically need scope, time, and cost as its foundation. Answered option A is incorrect. Cost variances and the cost performance index are cost values that must be considered along with the scope performance and schedule performance. Answered option D is incorrect. Only reporting performance on the schedule is not enough for a performance report. Laura should also report on scope and cost at a minimum. Question. Which of the following documents captures and defines the work activities, deliverables, and a timeline that a vendor will execute against in performance of work for a customer? A. Project Charter. B. Scope of Statement. C. South DWDS. Answer. Answer C. Explanation. A statement of work is a document that captures and defines the work activities, deliverables and timeline that a vendor will execute against in performance of work for a customer. Detailed requirements and pricing are usually specified in it, along with many other terms and conditions. SOW is a narrative description of products or services to be supplied by the project. For internal projects, the project initiator or sponsor provides the statement of work based on business needs, product, or service requirements. For external projects, the statement of work can be received from the customer as part of a bid document. Answered option B is incorrect. Scope of statement gives the narrative description of the project scope. Answered option A is incorrect. Project charter is a document that formally authorizes a project manager to work on a project. Answered option D is incorrect. WBS is a tool that defines a project and groups the project discrete work in a way that helps organize and define the total work scope. Question. A construction company is about to start a new project. It requires hiring the project manager for this project. Which of the following are the most important skills that a person must have to be selected as a project manager? A. Problem solving. B. Team building and human resources. C. Leading. D. Communication. B. Negotiation and influential. Answer D. Explanation. A good project manager must have all of the above-mentioned skills. Out of these, the communication skills are the most important skills for a project manager. Communications skills are part of general management skills and are used to exchange information. Communication has many dimensions: written and oral, listening, and speaking, internal within the project and external. Customer, the media, the public, formal reports, briefings and informal memos, ad hoc conversations, vertical up and down the organization and horizontal with peers. Communication is the most important skill that a project manager must possess. It is the single most important characteristics of a top-class project manager. Project managers must communicate well in order to integrate and maximize the performance of team members. Oral and written communications are the backbone of every successful project. During different phases of a project, a project manager requires to communicate through different manners, for example, documentation, meeting updates, etc., and he must ensure that the information communicated is explicit, clear, and complete. Answered options E, C, A, and B are incorrect. All these mentioned skills make a person a good project manager. Communication skills top the list. What are organizational skills? Organizational skills are part of management skills to organize various aspects of a project in order to complete it successfully. A good project manager uses these skills to successfully organize his meetings, as well as to keep documentations, quotes, contracts, etc., which can be fetched at any given moment. Organizational skills also include planning and time management skills. What are budgeting skills? Budgeting skills include the knowledge of finance and accounting principles. A project manager must possess these skills in order to perform cost estimates for project budgeting. Reading and understanding quotes, preparing purchase orders, and reconciling purchase invoices are all part of budgeting skills. In order to make the budget of a project, the project manager must have excellent budgeting skills. What are problem-solving skills? Problem-solving skills include the ability to define and analyze problems, and to take decisions in order to solve the problems by implementing those decisions. Every project manager must possess strong problem-solving skills. Problem-solving is a twofold process. Defining the problem, taking decision, and then implementing it. The project manager is responsible for determining the best course of action to take in order to resolve the problem. What are negotiating and influencing skills? Negotiating skills includes demanding and convincing others for the rightful thing or act. A project manager needs this skill to negotiate on projects in almost every area, such as scope definitions, budgets, contracts, resource assignments, schedules, etc. Influencing skills include the convincing power of a person. It is an ability to change minds and the course of events. A good project manager requires these skills to utilize them in all areas of project management. Question: which of the following individuals has a management role in a core business area, such as research and development, design, manufacturing, provisioning, testing, or maintenance? A. Functional manager. B. Operations manager. C. Project manager. D. Seller. Answer: B. Explanation: a role of operations manager is to perform various management roles in a core business area, such as research and development, design, manufacturing, provisioning, testing, or maintenance. The operations manager directly deals with constructing and maintaining the saleable products or services of the enterprise. Answered option C is incorrect. A project manager is an expert in the field of project management. He is responsible for the entire project from inception to completion. The project manager leads the team and helps negotiate the multiple relationships within any project, whether with clients, team members, firm principals, or any variety of partners, and functions as the hub of a project. Answered option A is incorrect. A role of a functional manager is to perform various management roles within an administrative or functional area of the business, such as human resources, finance, accounting, or procurement. He is assigned his own permanent staff to carry out the ongoing work. He should have a clear directive to manage all tasks within his functional area of responsibility. Answered option D is incorrect. Seller is also known as a vendor, supplier, or contractor. They are external companies' elements that enter into a contractual agreement to provide components or services